This is Into the Hen House, a podcast for moms with littles. In this space, we share the stories, experiences, and wild wisdom of mothers. We remember and celebrate the sacred. We are your hosts, Andrea and
Caitlin.
Get ready for some inspiration because it's time to jump into the hen house.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of the Into the Hen House podcast. We're so excited that you are here with us today. We have an amazing guest lined up for you. Her name is Dena Rae, and she bought a school. Dena, tell us about this.
So we stumbled upon this school, and we just had this crazy. It's a big, long story, which we'll get into when you ask all the questions, but we just kind of followed every open door. And I had the same reaction that there came a point where it's like, did we actually buy a school? Every door just kept opening along the way without us really planning it. So yeah, we ended up buying a school.
And it's to live in.
Yes.
Yeah. So how did this come about? I don't imagine that any one of us is driving down the street one day and hey, there's a school for sale. Let's do this. So take us back to what was the thought process to even have you looking for somewhere to live other than your house?
Well, that's kind of a funny part of this whole story is that we actually weren't looking. So yeah, that's something people always think is we must have been hunting for quite a while to find the perfect space. We were not looking. What happened is that at the same time that the other couple had seen it posted somewhere, we also saw it posted on Facebook, and then we were messaging each other saying well, what if we just looked at the school just for fun, just to see. And we kind of even at that point didn't know what we were thinking of even doing. We were wondering if maybe the space would be a good business opportunity. We could maybe renovate it into something and sell, as we had already flipped homes previously. And the other couple, Jaron, is the husband. He also owns a building company, or is part owner in a building company, and my husband does renovations. So it was just kind of an open-ended, well, let's just, check it out. And so we came here to check out the school, and Abby, Jaron's wife, her mom is actually a real estate agent. So she came along, and once we were all here, she's like, well, I want in. So it all, I'm telling you, every step of the way, it was just doors kept opening. So we literally did just kind of stumble upon this, and then just things just kept kind of snowballing, even though along the way I was well, it's never going to actually happen. And so yeah, that's kind of how it all came to be, almost by accident.
Yeah, no kidding. So you Abby is your friend.
Yes.
And then her mom, all end up, I'm going to call it 3 families, end up buying a school together. Did you have any idea what you wanted to do with it? You said maybe some business opportunities. What kinds of things were you thinking could be possible there?
Well, we had thought about doing basically what we've done, probably a lot more basic. Obviously, we kind of went overboard a little bit because we had decided that we were living here. So we went all out thinking this is our forever home. But we had thought about even just doing a very basic renovation and making 4 suites or something that we could then sell as kind of a condo or apartment building. Even maybe possible Airbnb type thing, because we're right near some lakes. So there was a few different ideas we had floating, but nothing concrete. It was just honestly it was the weirdest thing. We were just kind of all stepping through the open door without having anything concrete, really.
Okay. So you guys had a few different ideas, possible Airbnb, possible rental units, possibly you live there.
Yeah.
When did you decide fully, no, we're going to make this us, our homes, each of us will live here, community living?
I think it was actually really fast. So when we were walking around the property, the conversation was more could you imagine, what if we did this? Or what if we all lived here? What if we built our own little village? What if, and Andrea, who is Abby's mom, she was well, I want in, I would do it with you guys. And I think part of the holdup and what stopped us from believing that was the decision we would make was that because it's not a house, you actually can't get a mortgage on it. So it was well, there's no way we're going to come up with hundreds of thousands of dollars cash to be able to buy this place. So we'll just kind of follow step by step and see what happens, but it's very unlikely to happen. So yeah, there was almost a half decision thinking but it won't happen,
Hey, that's really interesting though. So you didn't get a mortgage on it then?
No. No. So it was,
guys come up
I'm telling you, it was a divine intervention that like all three families for one would commit to it, and it was fast. Like we came and saw it, I think it was September, maybe August, put in the offer and purchased it and had possession by December 1st. So it was like insanely fast. And obviously we all had to come up with our share of the money without being able to get a mortgage. So a house needed to be sold, and then that paid for two people's share. And then we had flipped a house, so that paid for our share. So it was just like, I'm telling you, like absolutely wild that it all came together. So yeah. It was super, super fast.
even identifying, okay, this can sell, and that would generate the income doesn't guarantee that those sales are going to happen.
No.
The time that you need them to for the deal to not go through.
So honestly, every single step of the way, it was like, okay, well, you know what, I'm not going to get my hopes up. And like, if it happens, we'll cross that bridge then. But like, let's just kind of walk through the next open door. And then it was like, oh, the house sold. Then it was like, okay, we have enough money. Oh, okay, we got approved to buy it. Like, okay, we're able, because there was also like a process of somewhat of an approval where like people had previously tried to buy it and they were declined from the community. I'm not sure exactly how it works, so don't quote me on that necessarily, but someone had wanted to do something with like Bitcoin or something, and they didn't want that for the community. But when they heard three families bringing more kids and more community wanted to buy it for a living space, then we were able to get a yes and go ahead from that as well.
Very cool. Obviously, like for safety reasons, I'm not going to ask you what community you guys are in. We don't need people knowing exactly where you're living.
Yeah.
I'm imagining, you said you're near Lake, like, so you're kind of out in the country, small town.
Yeah, it's very, very small town. Like there's like a gas station only.
Cool. And prior to that, were each of those three families all living in small towns, or did you come from a bigger city, or what kind of a change are we talking
One
about?
was in the city. So Abby and her family used to live in the city and had just moved out to the country, probably a year prior. And her mom had been in the city the whole time. And so she had to sell her house in the city in order to purchase this place. So, but yeah, and for us, we were out in the country as well, but like 15 minutes from the city. So super close, whereas this was like an hour away.
Okay. So that's a change.
Yeah.
Pardon me. It's a bit of change. And your family, you have children. Yes. Abby also has children, then Andrew, her mom. Did they have other children, or is Abby her own child?
She has two daughters. So there's Abby and her sister.
Okay. And then, so for your kids, what have they thought about this process?
I feel like they were pretty young when we went ahead with like starting this adventure. So they didn't say a whole lot. Like, they're like, what do you mean we're buying a school? And like for them, we were here like every weekend and they were just playing the whole time, like enjoying the yard, climbing the trees out back and loving the gym space. There's a zip line outside. So for them, it was like, I think not very real. It was just, we were coming here on weekends to play kind of thing.
Yeah. How exciting. Childhood dream. Like,
yeah.
I like the gymnasium in the school where I grew up, and like to get to go play in the gym every weekend. So much fun. And
so there really wasn't much distance from them at all, especially because like they were like, my youngest and her youngest were like inseparable little best friends. Like they're so cute. So like they always would hug each other and have their arms around each other. I mean, like, this is my best friend. Like they're just so sweet and like so loving, especially I find like for like such little boys, they're so in touch with their emotions.
This is so sweet. Every child's dream. You get to move in with your best friend too.
Yeah, so they were just immediately pumped, and like all of us would be here and they'd be riding their scooters through the renovations and like going back and forth to the gym. So like I had no issues with them at all, and I don't think Abby did either. I think maybe she said there was a bit of a pushback from one of their kids, but it was not about moving here. It was more about just moving in general because they already moved a year prior. So besides that, they were all excited to get here, and it was quite easy in that way.
Cool. So timeline-wise, we're just into 2026. So you guys started the process 2024.
We started the renovation in, like, we got possession December 1st, 2023. So we just came up on 2 years in December.
Okay, so this has been a bit of an ongoing journey. So for our listeners who are not familiar with you, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this, because you have really created an online community as well as a physical community. Mm-hmm. For our listeners who don't know a lot, you've bought a school now. There are 3 families. How did you make this into a living space? What does it look like in there?
So it is actually quite a small school. So I get so many comments online of people being like, what do you mean? Like the rooms are that small? Like you're in a massive school. Like, so what people don't realize, like this is a small town school. Like hardly can call this a town. And there's like there's a little community center and like 2 gas stations. And that's really all that's going on here. And so like, and the reason the school shut down was because of lack of students. So like, it's that small. And so people assume that this is like some huge school. It's actually only 11,000 square feet, which sounds like a lot compared to like a house, but like 3,000 of that is the gym. And so there's basically just a hallway, and then there's a unit, then there's like a common area, and then there's 2 more units at the end. So it's like, we took 2 classrooms, they took 2 classrooms, and then her parents took like the principal's office and teacher's lounge, and like we broke down all those walls. So
Of
it's
course,
really just a hallway.
principal's office.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, so you then converted. So you guys took 2 classrooms and you made that into effectively like a condo or an apartment, like a home, a 1-story home.
Yes. Yeah. So that's one thing to clarify as well, is like, this isn't like community living where we all share a space. Like we all have our full own private areas. So like I have my own kitchen, bedrooms, bathrooms, like we each have 2 washrooms as well. And then we have an area that is like the common area. And obviously the hallway and the gym is also a shared area. So those are the spaces where we can be together, be social, all of that when we want to, but we also have our private spaces for our own families and, just to stay grounded and all of that too.
Yeah. So not unlike like an apartment complex where like you have your apartment, but there is like maybe a community room or like a pool that the community shares or things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. This is so cool. So renovations themselves. I mean, you said that your husband owns a renovation company or does renovations, and Abby's husband also owned a renovation company. Mm-hmm. Take us through dreaming up your own apartment, like, or your own living space. I don't know if I like the word apartment. I don't know what to call it, but your own living space.
We just call them like our units or our suites. But so we actually, one of the other benefits of like working with Abby and Jaren is that Jaren actually does drawings for a living as well. And so he was a lot of that job. So we kind of would just tell him like, we need this many bedrooms. Actually, it's funny because we told him, hey, make us a drawing with 3 bedrooms for us, our 2 kids and whatever. And then we get possession and we're like, so you're going to need to redo the drawings. He's like, why? I'm like, well, I'm pregnant. So we actually needed an extra bedroom. And luckily Jaren was able to redraw our plans and set that for us. So each couple was able to kind of dream up their own space. And then Jaren got like the actual precise measurements and everything for us. And yeah, we just like we each kind of had our few little things we wanted to include in our units that were like our non-negotiables. And we had like the freedom to do that. Like, so whatever everyone does in their own is completely their own. And each unit is nothing like they don't look similar at all. Totally different styles.
Yeah. Like, so unlike an apartment where it's not like you walk in and it's the same cookie cutter on each.
No. Yeah. Very different.
Your own, entirely your own home.
Yeah, exactly.
This is so cool. So would you say like 5 years ago, maybe that's far enough back. Maybe I need to go further back. Would you ever have dreamt that you were like I'm going to call it like a community living?
The only thing we had ever thought about previously, there's 2 events that maybe could have like foreshadowed this happening. One was that we had gone and seen a church that was for sale. This is when we were looking for a house when we, I think, didn't even have kids yet. And I remember in that time being like, I don't want to live in some weird building. Like, yeah, we can convert it, but like, I don't want to do that. That's so weird. Like, what are people going to think? Like, I think there was resistance in like being judged for it, And so we passed on the church. Looking back now, in a way, like I wish we had done that fun project. That would have been really cool. But I just wasn't ready yet. Like I had to wait to get to that point. And then the other thing that maybe foreshadowed this too was that we had looked at a few different properties with my husband's parents, just because like since having kids, I always felt in my gut, like we are meant to not be just isolated in our homes doing this alone. So there was like a few places that we kind of entertained potentially buying, but nothing really worked out. We also looked to buy a house in Alberta and we were going to flip that. And we had someone who was renting there as well. So like there was like all these little things that we kept kind of trying, but just weren't clicking. And now I see that it's because like all of those, if those had happened, would have stopped us from this. So totally. Yeah, I didn't really imagine that we'd be living in a school, but I know.
Yeah, as you're like, I didn't want to live in a weird building because what would people think?
Yeah. I've come a long way since then.
Okay, but even still, like the fact that you even went and saw a church or thought about a church, like, have you always been open to things outside of the norm?
Probably not. I actually like who I am now is very different from who I used to be. I think I used to care a lot, like it was like almost like soul crushing. Like I cared so much what people thought of me. I was so like normal, I guess you could say. You know, like even like with my hair was always just like very normal. I never did anything outside the box. Like it was like, you know, the usual graduate, go to college, get a scholarship for sports, you know, get married, buy a house, like all exactly just normal.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. So no, I definitely didn't think that I would like step this far outside the box, but everything that's happened up until now makes sense now to be like, I wasn't ready to receive that. I needed to grow as a person and come to a point where it's like, I don't care about the millions of comments I'm getting with people calling us a cult, you know, like there's a lot of growth required.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Before we go into like online stuff,
Yeah.
you guys are, I think I did see this on your Instagram not long ago. You guys are still waiting for occupancy permits. So you can't actually live in your space yet. But I imagine like through your renovation process, you've spent a lot of time there.
Yeah.
What would you say, like, I guess I'm going to call it in your dream still because you haven't necessarily lived it yet.
Yeah.
But like, how much time will you guys spend with the other families? Will you intentionally do things together and spend time together, or like coincidence we're all in the gym right now?
Yeah. Yeah. We're kind of like, we're going to, I think, have a lot of like meetings. We're going to do that every month and make sure that we're all aligning our needs. But I think it's really going to come down to us truly actually living together and seeing how people really are. Cause you know, it's easy to talk about all these ideas. But I know like for me, I am a very social person and I love to be together. I come from a family, like I have 9 siblings. So I'm used to people around me all the time. Same with, you know, me being a soccer player my whole life. It was always big teams, everyone together, like group things. Whereas Abby's a lot more calm. She's a lot more grounded and more like the slow living style. So we're going to have to find that way to mesh together in a good way. But we have had these conversations, and I think that our plan is to have like a communal meal each week where we just each kind of bring something. And then we do have like sports in the gym. Like, so we play volleyball together or we play pickleball, like we'll all meet in there and play. So once we're actually living here, I'm not really sure how much that will change. I hope to be together quite a bit, but it will depend on how they all feel as well.
How everyone jives together.
Yeah, exactly.
You homeschool your kids, correct?
Yeah.
Do you feel like, I just feel like this is so fun in that you're in a school.
Yeah.
So you incorporate some of the things that maybe some parents who are thinking, oh, I do want to homeschool my kids, but I'm worried about them not getting this social time, or like I'm not going to be able to coordinate, I don't know, like sports in the winter and so on and so forth. Like you get to do all of this.
Yeah. And we've talked about having a homeschool group here each week as well, or every second week maybe. And we'll have like groups that can come and use the gym, which is going to be awesome. Our kids will get gym class, and some of the things that they miss out by being homeschoolers, you know, they're going to not necessarily have all those extra benefits of like the socialization and the sports and whatever. But, you know, we have people right across the hall. It's not like we're just isolated, and we all have people come here. It's a great place to be able to host people and allow other homeschoolers to get that ability to play all the gym games and everything too.
Yeah, for that more community connection piece.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you said the gym or the school itself, the building is 11,000 square feet. Is the property also large? Are you guys going to have an opportunity to like, I don't know, what do you envision for that? Gardens?
Yeah. So we have 6 acres to work with. It is like just open essentially, because you know it's a schoolyard, right? So imagine like a schoolyard. So it's just a big open space. There's a playground, there's a little zip line, definitely needs a little love, but it's there. And there's a baseball diamond and a soccer field and a basketball court, like all those things outside. So we, with the space, like we do want to keep a lot of it open, but we are going to have like a few different garden beds that we all work together on. We're going to have like an orchard. We want to do like fruit trees and stuff as well. So lots of plans for the yard, definitely. And we're each going to have kind of our own patio, and then also a shared area that goes off the common area where we can have like a gazebo type thing that's screened in.
Cool.
So lots of plans for the yard though. We already have a hot tub here. We had talked about a pool. I'm not sure if we're doing that anymore, but at least it's an option.
Yeah, it's not like you're lacking space.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we have about 6 acres, so lots to work with.
That's so incredible and so exciting. Talk to me through the process of, I'm going to say through the school, but I feel like maybe there could be more to it, and you can share with us about that. In this process of like creating this community in your real physical life, you've also created quite a community on the internet.
Yes.
So like when you and I first met, I guess it was 2020 or 2021. It was COVID times.
Yes.
It was a really weird time. I don't know. Maybe you had a couple hundred or a couple thousand followers on your social media, but you've really been sharing this journey with everyone. And last time I looked, I think you were up to 540,000 followers, which is wild to even, I don't know if our brains can even comprehend how many people that actually is like watching in on our lives.
Yeah.
What has that been like?
It's been a lot. I think that like when I first started this journey, I had actually started like a social media training before ever buying the school, probably 6 months prior. And so I just got super fortunate because the timing of it all, again, just alignment. I had primed the algorithm to really know who I am and who to show my stuff to. And so when it came to sharing about the school, it blew up because I was already posting daily. I was already staying within like my research topics and the hooks that I was using. And so I just knew exactly what to do to just really work the algorithm to just pump it right out there. So it's been a wild journey. It's been a lot, especially like trying to share parts and decide what to share, what not to share, especially through like all the challenges and the ups and downs of renovating the school while also having a baby. Like I was dealing with postpartum and no sleep and all these things. And I'm still trying to keep it going, but not to allow myself to be too open to any negativity and stuff like that. So it was definitely a balancing act.
No kidding. For those listening who are like hooks and tags and algorithms, don't worry. We're not teaching a grow your following course in this episode. Dena might be someone you want to talk to because she clearly has nailed it. And don't worry. In growing to such a large visibility, I know at one point you did decide like, I'm not showing my kids' faces anymore. There were some safety threats. How do you navigate that? Because I think there are lots of people who maybe want to explore doing other things in their real life and recognize there is the potential for creating online. But I don't know that anyone in the start of things is thinking like, oh, one day my safety might be something that is of concern on the internet, or one day I might not want so many strangers to see my kids, or
it's something that like you only realize maybe later. Like at first I was like talking to, like you said, 3,000 people, and I didn't feel worried, but most of the, like a lot of them are people I truly knew in real life or had known through kind of thing. And so I was comfortable, and I was like extremely open, and like I never really thought about what I was sharing. I was just sharing, and I had kind of a good outlook on the people in the world. And like, to be clear, 99% of the people who follow me or even comment like are such beautiful people. They're so kind-hearted, so loving, so supportive. Like it's wild how kind some strangers have been to me. Like some of the messages like are so heartfelt, like big paragraphs, like even just saying how I've changed their lives. Like people are truly amazing. I'm so thankful for them, but you get that one person that just kind of ruins it for everyone, So yeah, I did choose to stop showing my kids' faces, and I often don't share their voices either. Sometimes I let it slide on like little clips that show kind of from the side or whatever. I'm not like crazy uptight about it, but I do try to limit how much I'm sharing their personal details. And I also don't ever talk about where we live either. Just because I feel like it's a little bit creepy when you suddenly blow up to such a large number and you don't know who's watching you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like I can imagine, I don't know, I think I have maybe 3,000 followers. And like you said, if I were to sit and scroll through my followers, I might not know them all now, but I've attended a seminar with them or I did this thing with them. Like they're all people who most likely I've in some capacity met, or I know them through another person. So like pretty trusted or feels pretty safe, if you will. But when you consider a public account, I can go and look at who watched my stories today. It's only a couple hundred people. I can look at that list really quickly.
I've given up on that.
It's to a point where you're like, I'm not wasting my time on this. So it's a real possibility that anyone and everyone are looking.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You just never know. So, and I just feel like too, over time, I started to realize, you know, some of the things that we share about our kids, it's hard because I really want to like normalize struggles through motherhood. Like that's been a big thing on my heart always, has been to make people feel seen, heard, loved, and like know that they're not alone. And that comes with storytelling a lot of the time. But at one point I got uncomfortable realizing, you know, this is my kid's story. It's not for me to share. Like I don't have their permission to share that. And once it's there forever. So I've really like slowed down a lot, especially now. Like I've really taken quite a long pause because I'm just taking a minute to like reassess where I want to go from here, how much I want to share. And yeah, I'm just kind of waiting to feel in alignment again, I guess. Yeah.
It's such a huge thing that you just said. Like, yes, you can be sharing your story as a mother and the struggle and what you went through, but also you're sharing your child's story too. And you said it bang on. You don't have their permission, and they're not of an age where they can actually grant consent for their stories to be permanently placed on the internet. And so
it's a tricky one because I still like I want to share and I want for moms to be able to relate to me. Like it's a bigger, this isn't about making money. It's about connection and like allowing moms to like see in, even especially now with me having a large following, I feel like people put you on a pedestal and like think like, oh, she's got it all together. Like I like to share the messy, to be like, no, I don't. Like I'm just a regular person and I'm struggling, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's really tricky. Like I'm still working on it. I haven't figured it out yet fully, but I want to still be real and raw, but while protecting my kids and their autonomy as well, you know?
Yeah. It's different to say like, it's been a wild week. I haven't showered in 6 days.
Yeah.
I don't know the last time I brushed my teeth and my house is a disaster.
Yeah.
Send help versus actually going through the detailed stories.
Or videotaping your child having a meltdown, you know? Like, I'm like, I do want to share these moments, but not at their cost, you know?
And also not only the expense or the cost of their story being on the internet, but your child is having a meltdown or having a moment or even the good moments, because it's not all bad. And when they look up, they don't see their parents' eyes. They see their parents' phone because the parent is filming.
Yes. And that's been a big battle, is like trying to remember to be fully present in the moment and not always think, oh, this would be good content. You know, like, no, I'm allowed to just actually just exist here and be here in this moment, not feel like I need to capture it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much wisdom from you. I really appreciate the content creators who like share their child stories through reenactment.
Yes.
I do not have the time nor the desire to do this myself, but I'm like, oh, it's so cute. Like there's an account. She's a woman who talks about like feeding toddlers, and she'll sit at her table and like mimic a toddler is picky or throws food or whatever. And I'm like, it's 10 times funnier because you're a grown up. And also thank you for not putting a video of your child in a vulnerable moment. Like,
yes. Yeah, exactly. So I just have to take the time now to be a little bit more creative. And that's really all it is that I want to be more creative. If they are in the videos, I want their face not showing. I don't want their voices showing, and it's not going to be vulnerable moments. So
I love that. So tell us, what would you say in your real world with your school home and in your online world, what are some of the highs and some of the lows?
I think some of the highs, like with the social media, is like seeing those numbers climb was like really rewarding and really exciting. And I think just like how much I feel like our project inspired people was really just exciting, because I feel like a lot of people want the village, they want community, and they're afraid to take those steps, like just like we were. So I think that's kind of a lot of the highs, was like just seeing how it really actually impacted a lot of people more than I ever imagined it would. Like I didn't realize so many people would be that invested. So that was fun. Some of the lows would be just the wild comments. Like some people are just like, literally they don't read. Like they just come in, comment something and take off. And it's like just these small little passing comments. And it just, I feel for a while, it kind of like put like darker glasses on me, where I was like seeing people in such a negative light, being like, wow, like people really take their time out of their day to just be mean and hurtful for no reason. Like it was shocking, but I'm still choosing to just focus on the better people out there and share for them. And then I would say, like, in regards to like our physical life with the highs and lows, like I think the highs would be actually getting to see the dreams and everything that we talked about come to life, like where the phase in the project where it's like you start to see the actual walls come up, where it's like, oh my gosh, like this is going to be my kitchen, like, oh, this is our bedroom, like, and seeing the space, because I think it's so hard. I don't do renovations. My husband does.
Yeah.
He can see things and be like, oh, we'll do this with this. And I'm like, that makes no sense to me. Like, I need to see it. Like, I need a drawing, you know? And so I think that as soon as we started to actually see the walls and everything, it was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, so exciting. And then the lows, I guess, would probably be the toll that it really actually took on us, which I don't talk about a lot. I try to share it, but again, I'm trying to figure out how to share exactly, because I also don't want to be like negative or discouraging, but having such a huge project that we're working on while postpartum, like having a baby throughout this process and dealing with all that, and then having my husband hardly around, like parenting alone most of the time, it really took a toll on us. And I think I never really realized until now, when we're able to slow down, that I'm like crashing, and I'm like really noticing like, holy, like I was doing well for what I thought at that time because I was in survival mode. So I was just doing everything I needed to do. And it's funny how that happens. Like people, you know, as soon as they get holidays or vacation, then they get sick, you know? So it's the same kind of thing where it's like, now I can slow down, and now I'm having like these mental health battles or things that I'm like needing to work through. And it's because now my body feels like it can slow down and feel this, you know? So that would be the lows. It's just the toll that it's actually really taken on like our mental health and our capacity.
Right. And it's often not until we've come through something, and like you said, when you're in that safer space, let your body come down, that you look back and go, ooh, I wasn't okay. Like I was getting through, and from the outside looking in, I might have looked like I was doing great. Like, oh, I was not okay.
No. And you don't even realize the depth of it till afterwards, where it's like, wow, that was dark, or that was messy. Like,
and there's something else you said that I think is really important as women, and also for our male provider partners. Like, I think so often the woman ends up taking on the primary parenting role, and it can often feel like you are a single parent with a partner. But you're a single parent. And yet we have to also, like, when we step back and remember, like, it's not that our partner is not there or doesn't want to help. Like, he's literally building a home for you to live in. And exactly. I imagine in your case, he's building a home for you to live in, but he still has to actually work his job to make money to build the home that you're going to live in.
That's also a part of it too, is that like with us not able to take out a mortgage on the place, not only do we need the cash and use up everything that we could get our hands on, we also had to pay for the reno out of pocket.
And still you're living in, and you still have bills, and you still need to put food on your table, and someone outgrew their winter boots. And right? Like,
exactly. So he's working like way beyond his capacity. I'm working way beyond my capacity. I don't have family here. And I had a child who did not want to sleep for, like, even now, actually. He's almost 2 and he still is, it's 50-50. So it's been rough. Like, we've got our butts for sure.
It's so hard. And I think it's a real testament to both people in the relationship to be able to recognize, like, this is a season, and I would love to be there more for you and to help you more. But in order for us to get through this, like, I have to keep doing the parts that I can do, and you have to keep doing the parts you can do. And we're going to get through it.
Exactly. That was the thing. Like, it was like, we know this is temporary. Like, we've just got to hold on. So I just kept on being like, just hold on a little longer. Just hold on.
One more day.
This is not forever. Like, middle of the night, I'm rocking a baby. Like, this isn't forever. This is not forever. It's okay. And I mean, it's getting better now. So we're coming out of it. Yeah.
And then you get the opportunity after, like, you can do your debrief, and you can see, like, what were the parts we did really well? What were the parts that, not if we were going to do this again, but next time we tackle something, how would we do things differently to be more sustainable for all of us?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I think it's just such a, like, such a juggling act all the time, and like really facing it as a team instead of ever like holding resentment against your partner. Because I think like what you need to realize is like both people are doing as much as they can do, and like everyone's just doing their freaking best, so as long as
one of you is not just a lazy poo who like does absolutely nothing, which I don't think in your case or in most cases
is how it is.
I think truly both people are almost always doing everything they possibly can and know how to do.
Yeah. Well, and there's also situations where one partner's capacity is just lower than the others. And like, that's not like a lack of trying. Sometimes it's actually more of a mental health issue, or, you know, like there's other things happening under the surface as well that like we need to pay attention to. And like, why am I not able to keep up with this? Or why is my capacity so low right now? Like there's more to it. And I think that that's something we're really blessed for, is that we have an open relationship. I'm not saying that we haven't had some very heated discussions throughout the project, but I think that we are really, really skilled at coming back together and like seeing each other for the humans that we are, and like the fact that like we are just doing our best for our family, and that we need to just be united on it, you know?
I totally hear that. I have to giggle when you say like that your husband is the skilled renovator and not you, and that you can't visualize it, because like Ed wants to move the TV and I'm like,
I don't know about that.
I can't get it. And he's like, here, I've cut out this box of cardboard that's the same size as your TV. I'm going to show you where it's going to go. And I'm like, oh, you've learned how I learn. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, it looks great there. Yeah. Like I need that every step of
that is such a tricky thing too. Like what you just said there, like learned how you learn. Like I think that's one thing that is like such a big challenge for any couple who's facing any big challenge, you know, like it doesn't even have to just be a renovation, but I think for a lot of people, that is like one of the things that people were talking about constantly, is like, I could never do this with my husband or my partner. And I think like realizing that we are two different humans, and even with us doing it with other couples as well, it's like every one of us is different. Every one of us communicates differently. Every one of us sees things differently. And it's like learning to actually like see people for the way they see things and communicate with them the way they receive communication, I think just has been so tricky, but we've made it through, we've found a way. But yeah, I think it's understanding that like, just because he sees it one way doesn't mean I'm going to see it that way. And like, we both kind of had to do a little bit of, you know, acrobatic moves to be like, okay, now I see why you're saying this. Like that makes sense now, you know?
Now that I can actually see and comprehend what you're even saying,
that
totally makes sense. Like null what I had said, or vice versa. Like, oh, yeah, okay. But when one of us has more experience or expertise in a certain area, I think sometimes we can assume that the other person knows all the things that we know.
Yes, he skips over things, and I'm like, I don't understand that. What do you mean? Like,
what? You're using builder terms. I actually don't know what you're saying.
Right, like, well, obviously we have to do that before we can put the door frame in. I'm like, yeah, obviously, of course.
Totally. Obviously, I'm gonna do it blah, 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 blah way. Oh man, this is so funny. We've been eyeing different exteriors of homes. We were just on vacation and we're driving down the street, and I said to Ed, I really like how that exterior looks. And he goes, oh, that's obviously old English, blah, blah. He used all these terms, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, obviously.
I have absolutely no idea what you just said, sir. None.
That's so funny.
I'm like, sure. Cool.
Yeah.
Style of taco. Great. So back to you guys, like, renovation's complete. You're waiting for permits to move in. So where do things go from here?
I think like for the like near future, it's about just like getting into the school, everyone moving in, and everyone kind of getting back into a routine. Like, I mean, all of us have been in survival mode, you know, like all of us have just been like, just barely making it through kind of thing. So I think the next step for us all is to just get in here and to get back into like some routines and find the rhythm and find how we all fit together and really start to learn who each other are and how we communicate. Because like there have been bumps along the road where communication between different people isn't the same style and it's interpreted differently, even though, you know, like just because we're so different. Like that's one of the things too, is like we did choose people who are very different from us, and I'm sure they feel the same as well, like that we are nothing like how they are. And so there's lots of different things that we are excited to learn and be able to grow together and learn how to love each other better. So that's kind of the next thing, is like really all just fitting together and finding a rhythm.
Despite being very different, would you say though you guys are like, you share the same core values?
In a lot of ways. Like, I mean, our core values are the same in like our beliefs and stuff, but just the way that we show up is very different. Like I'm a lot more outgoing, a lot higher energy, probably louder. And I would say, you know, Abby, for example, she's a lot softer than I am. And she will be, actually, funny enough, she's a lot more direct than me. So I really sugarcoat things to make sure people don't feel a certain way, whereas she will just be very, very direct. And then it's taken wrong on both parts, because if I'm over explaining, then she feels like I'm attacking, and then she's under explaining, and I'm like, man, she's being rude. So it's like learning all of those little things about each other, I think, is such a big thing. But in the end, like, we want the same thing. And Jaron actually said something really cute when we had a group meeting too. He's like, I want you guys, and everyone's crying, of course. It was we're very open and like willing to be vulnerable, because if we're going to do this, we have to fully do it. We're not going to live here and be pissed off and spiteful of our neighbors. So we have these meetings and everybody's bawling. And he had said something too that was adorable. That was just like, when I like agreed to this and when I said yes to buying this place, like I view this as like a marriage, like we are all making this commitment to each other that's forever. And yeah, it's different than, with our spouses, but like now you're my sister. Now you're my parents as well. And like we are in this together to learn each other, to love each other better, and to like have those difficult conversations. And we don't get to run from this, like we're going to sit in the uncomfortability and we're going to grow as people. So that's kind of our take on things.
I love that. I want to clarify this for our listener. I know you've had to clarify it many times on your social media. There was a phrase you used before, and that's why I'm like, ooh, let's clarify this.
Yes.
We're talking about yours and your husband's open relationship. And I know that what you meant was that you have open communication with each other. This is not like a coming together. You're not becoming like a quadruple sister wives. No,
there is no polyamory of any sort going on here. No judgment to those who do, but no. We are very, very separate. There is
have your life, they have their life. You've become family.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's more like now he's my brother and I'm his sister, and vice versa. Like that. We're making the commitment that like all of us are doing life together, but our marriages are still monogamous.
I love that though. That has to feel so good as someone coming into just this different living arrangement, because I can see how maybe it would float in the back of your mind, like, oh man, like this has been a hard week or a hard month. Like, are they just going to bail?
Yeah.
What's going to happen if they bail? Like,
yeah, exactly. Well, that's been like one of the funny like jokes that Jaron and Abby have made a few times, because of the 3 units, we really got carried away. Like we spent like probably over 150,000 more than we intended to. Like, I don't know how I don't know.
All the details.
I really wanted that stone, okay? I wanted that stone.
And you know what? You're planning on living there for a while. You should have that stone.
That's the joke that they always make, is like they were kind of like giggling as we were choosing all these things. They're like, hee, they'll never leave now. Like, like the more we spend.
They're not going anywhere.
No, like we can't sell this place. We put way too much into it. Like this is our home.
I love that for you guys though. I love that for all of you. How about longer term? Any future aspirations floating through your head now that you're like, well, we've bought a school and
now what?
So we can do anything.
Yeah. I mean, there's, like I said earlier, there's like plans for the actual yard and everything and what we want to do like as a group. Just creating spaces that we can all be together is a big one. But like, as for myself and like my social media and everything, I'm still kind of in this phase where I'm pausing and I'm waiting to just hear from God and understand, like, like what is my next step? How can I serve better now? Like I feel like my social media was so much about like the renovation and becoming, and now it's like, well, now what do I share? Like, what do I really want to do now? And instead of like rushing into the next thing, I'm just sitting still in the uncomfortability and just waiting to kind of hear. And like, I feel this strong pull towards really helping women again, like, which, like I used to work with women with their subconscious mind and rewiring and healing and learning why we are the way we are and all that. So I'm really being pulled back to that. And the way that it relates to the school and the content I share is like showing people that like you can step outside the box and you can be bold enough to show up confidently, even when you're imperfect, even while you're struggling. Like the wildest thing is that like, while I built my massive social media following, while I built a business that like went so much further than I expected it to, that's actually probably some of the darkest time in my life. That's when I was struggling. And I'm not saying that women should burn themselves out. Absolutely not. But I want to just share with people that like you can work through things and do incredible things even when you're imperfect, even when you're having these pauses. Like I've taken multiple pauses and my account is at over 500,000, There has been multiple times throughout this project that I've been like, I need to take a beat and need to take a break. And that is motherhood. That is life. And I think that helping women understand that like we can work life in that way and honor ourselves through the process. I don't know, there's something in that I'm being called to. So instead of like going bigger and having a bigger following, like I thought it was everything that I wanted, but it's not. Now I want to go deeper. So now I don't want the big following. I don't want the big scene. I want to get deep with women and see like how they tick and what they need and how I can help them. So that's kind of what I feel that I'm being pulled to, but it's open-ended right now.
I love that. I love that it's honoring yourself also. That just because you have a big following, you don't owe to anyone to show up every day. You actually don't. Like, you owe it to no one. You owe it to yourself and your family to show up for yourself and your family.
Mm-hmm.
And
exactly.
I know I've witnessed a handful of times you say like, I'm taking a pause. I'm probably not going to be on this account for a bit. And when you do come back, it's just so exciting. And everyone's pumped that you're back and you're sharing. Like, I don't think I've noticed in those times that anyone goes like, oh, she really let me down. Where did you go?
No, it's all been very positive. And anytime I do say something like that, I get hundreds of messages of people being like, oh, thank you for reminding me that I can put myself first. Like, so, you know, even when I feel that I'm failing and I feel that I'm stepping away and I'm letting people down, I'm having people be like, oh, thank you. I'm like, oh, I guess like I'm also giving women a permission to be soft and to take space and to take a breath whenever they need a breath. So, you know, even in our moments where we feel that we are, like failing, that actually can also be a big lesson that you're showing other people and giving more permission to other people to be able to be their authentic selves and to be able to step into like what they're being called to do in that moment too. So the impact we can have is a lot bigger than we realize.
I'm not even going to try to say the quote because it's so off the forefront now, but there's a Marianne Williamson quote about exactly that, about when you show up authentically as yourself, you are always giving others permission to do the same. And nobody needs your permission to do the same.
Yes. Oh, not at all.
That reminder that like, hey, if Dena can take a break, I can take a break too. I'm allowed to do
just
that.
Kind of passes on that brave energy to them, to being like, you know what, I can too, you know? And I think that's like a really special thing. And I mean, that goes in so many different ways too, is like, I've also been showing up messy this whole time. And like, I've been majorly overweight. I've lost 30 pounds now and I'm still on that journey. And it's like, I'm not waiting till that's done to talk about it. You know, like we can all be like the messy in between and be sharing as we're going, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah, exactly.
I'm learning that I think I really do well in the messy middle.
Yes. That's just where I
think that's where life happens. Life happens in the messy middle.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. This has been really fun chatting with you. You bring such a positive energy. You're glowing. You just look fabulous. And I think our listeners and our viewers can see and hear that in your voice and everything you've shared. And
thanks
to our listeners, thank you so much for being here with us on another episode. If you want to follow Dena, if you're feeling inspired, we're going to link her Instagram in our show notes. So make sure to check that out. And we'll see you on our next episode.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. If you are loving this podcast, please go ahead and subscribe and leave us a review. Both of these really help the show. As you go out into the world this week, know that we are sending you so much love and wishing you a wonderful and beautiful day. And we will see you back here soon.